Dumelang. Welcome to yet another episode of Monday Re Tsene with World Life Inc. Kalibito ke nna Kamogelo wa Gakwapa. And this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. So my topic for today is choosing yourself. What does choosing yourself mean? I know it's a very, simple term that we use on a daily basis, but choosing yourself is not as easy as it sounds. What does it mean to choose yourself? It could be maybe because you are stuck in an environment that is not healthy for you. You are stuck in a cycle that you've been repeating for so long that is not working for you anymore, and ultimately you have to choose yourself. But sometimes what do you do when you can't choose yourself? Because like I said, choosing yourself is not easy. So imagine with family, for example. You are stuck in a cycle in your family where you are continuously giving and giving and giving, and it doesn't help you in any way. If anything, it leaves you frustrated. And because it's family, you are put in a space where you kind of have to always choose them and you have to always compromise because it's family. But now what happens when that starts draining you? It gets to a point where you might become resentful, where you might even you might not even want to be around them anymore. And that's why you need to choose yourself. Choosing yourself means not being selfish, but putting your needs first. I know someone can say, okay, it is selfish, but it's actually you putting your mental health first. Sometimes we find ourselves in positions where we're continuously choosing other things, other environments, other people before we choose ourselves. And that can actually leave you in a space where you feel empty. And once you get to that point, nothing is going to come out of you that is positive. You're going to be running on an empty cup. And it's kind of hard to actually do anything fruitful or productive when you are running on an empty cup. Or you might even find yourself being on survival mode because you're continuously giving and giving and giving, but not choosing yourself. Choosing yourself can also be in a workplace as well, where you're continuously working overtime. You continuously trying to show your value at work, but your value is still not seen. You are not reaping that which you've been sowing. There comes a point where you have to be honest with yourself and put yourself in a position where you choose your own happiness, because truth is your family, your workplace, that friendship, that relationship can function without you. I know that is it's a hard pill to swallow, rather, but that's the truth. Anything in this world is replaceable. So if you find yourself in a space where you are at work and you're not happy, then it's time for you maybe to just take a step back and try and choose yourself as well. In relationships as well, I think that's the one where I see in most cases where when I work with clients, where it's kind of hard for them to find themselves in a space where they actually choose themselves over the relationship. You find people that are staying with partners that are not actually pouring into them. I believe that a relationship is a partnership. You pour into them, they pour into you. But you can't continuously be choosing a person who's not choosing you. You can't continuously be choosing the relationship while it's not choosing you back. At some point, you're going to have to choose yourself. And what does choosing yourself mean in this case? It means one, putting your needs first. Two, isolating. You need to find yourself in a space where you isolate from all that noise, all those toxic environments or things that are actually, draining you. You just find yourself in a space where you are by yourself. You introspect. You try and see, why is it difficult for you to choose yourself? So in many cases, people find it difficult to choose themselves because they've never been chosen. Because of past traumas as well. If you grow up in an environment where you were a kid out of maybe 5 kids, for example, and you had 4 siblings, it's kind of hard. It's tricky for parents to give all 5 of you, the same attention. So kids who grow up in big families, often kind of find it hard to find themselves in a space where they actually choose themselves, because you're so used to sharing your environment. You're so used to, sharing things with your siblings. Everything is shared. And now when you find yourself in a space where you can't share, or you forced not to share, you kind of feel bad for doing that. Hence you might find yourself in spaces where you're always pleasing people. You're always trying to compensate for certain things. You're always trying to get people to like you, and it doesn't have to be like that. Not everyone has to like you. At some point, you have to get to a point where you isolate yourself and you start actually introspecting on why is it that makes it so hard for you to actually put yourself first. What is it that makes it so hard for you to actually realize that you're also as important as other things. You're also as valuable as other things. Your life matters. Your mental health matters. You matter. So you really need to start digging deep into those things, into trying to understand what's making it so hard for you to actually choose yourself. And choosing yourself might actually look like, you doing an activity that you enjoy, you going on that trip that you've been postponing for so long, you leaving that relationship that is not working for you, you saying no to those people, setting boundaries as well as part of you choosing yourself, saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore because it's not actually, producing any fruits for me. That's you choosing yourself and being honest with yourself. One of the most hardest things is actually having an honest conversation with yourself. It's not easy because it requires you to actually really, really be honest and face your truth. And facing your truth is really not easy because it's very uncomfortable. You have to deal with the things that are not so pleasant to you, things that you're not so happy about or happy with. It requires you to actually really, really find yourself in a space where you allow yourself to be fully naked to yourself, if that makes sense. And it's very uncomfortable. It's easy for us to hide behind certain things than to actually find ourselves in a space where we are honest. So I am urging you today to actually try and have that honest conversation with yourself. I know it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be pleasant, but believe you me, it's going to produce beautiful results, and you're going to find yourself in a space where you're going to be happy and more fulfilled with yourself because you're choosing yourself. You're choosing environments and spaces that are cultivating you to grow, that are helping you become, the best version of yourself, instead of, staying in spaces that are not actually doing anything for you because of, the fear of not knowing what's going to happen, the fear of getting outside of your comfort zone because you're so used, to being in a certain space. The fear of the unknown as well. I think sometimes you have to just take that leap of faith, trust that inner voice inside of you that's been talking to you, and just choose yourself. I know it's scary, but it's not impossible. So if you are out there and you've been struggling with, choosing yourself, you've been struggling with putting yourself first, you've been struggling with saying no, now it's time to actually do that. That no could actually be you saying yes to yourself. Look at it that way. If you find yourself in a space where you have to say no to a person, it's actually you saying yes to you. If you're finding yourself in a space where you continually have to please other people, then those people are clearly not for you, because I believe that people should actually like you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be or who you'd wish for them to perceive you as. For you to have, prosperous relationships, you really need to allow yourself to be true to yourself. So I am challenging you today to actually choose yourself, to actually love yourself more, and to have grace on yourself. Be patient with yourself. Don't rush yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're a human being. We all make mistakes. We learn from them. And I think the most important thing to know and remember is that it's not really the mistakes, but the lessons that come from the mistakes. So try and look at it from a different perspective. Try and look at it from a perspective of saying, you know what, I might have found myself in these kind of circumstances, but now I'm actually taking my power back and learning from those mistakes so I can be, the best version of myself. Once again, I really hope that you have the courage to choose yourself. Thanks for watching, for joining us to another episode of Re Tsene. Till next time.